or to the NSS for a day or two and I'm released. But anytime he comes to arrest me, he will make sure I'm tortured in the presence of my kids. And then he will bring down Sadauda's picture and stamp on it. That's why Sadauda has even mentioned it in his book. Because what I told him, Sana, you cannot break my mosque and don't allow me to pray in my house. I will continue praying here. I owe my political success to this man. And I'll continue putting his picture here. If you break it, if you tear it, I'll go and get a new picture and put it there.
Do you know or do you recall how many times Sana Sabali was involved in your arrest? We know 4 times from your home. Do you know whether do you recall whether he's been involved in your arrest other times?
I couldn't say because he could have sent people, but I know that wherever you see Sadibu Haidara and Bachsamba Jallow, you should know that Sana is involved. Because he was the group's leader. And these were the people who goes with him anywhere he's going.
The torture in front of your children, can you describe to us what happened?
Sana came with Bachsamba Jallow and met me talking to the Quranic teacher who has come to teach Quranic studies to my kids. So he pointed his AK-47 at me and said, "Get up." And I got up. And whilst I was getting up, Bachsamba Jallow kicked my legs and I fell down. And they start slapping, kicking me, put me on the truck, and went with me. 3 days after, I was released. But after that, the second time he came, I was in my house. Then my friend Ali Koroma was sitting with some friends at the veranda. Ali looked so much like me. So Samba Jallow just rushed on Salif, beat him up, break all his nose. Before I came back, they know it was not OJ. They started on me again. And they threw me on the truck, and I can remember, at that time, Samba Jallow told my daughter, Rugi, whom I named after my mother, because she's stubborn. She was insulting them. He said, "You will not insult because this is the 3rd time. Your father will never come back here alive."
Excuse me for asking this question, but how did it feel being beaten and tortured in front of your own children?
It's not only me, but the feelings of my wife and my kids. That my youngest child, they came and reported about his activities in Dow School, that he's always drawing a gun. That's the one I named after Ali Koroma. And when they asked him, he said, "Because those who are coming to beat my father, I want to kill them." And at the end, they found a knife in his pocket. And this boy was just 9 years old. So I asked my children in the UK to take him before he can have other problems mentally, which will not be good for him or for us in the family.
After that, I'm not sure we can go through all the times you were arrested. You mentioned how many times?
Over 22 times. Whenever I make a press conference, I'll be arrested. And the other time is when they took us to the Commission of Inquiry, because I was challenging Akwete, the prosecutor, and Usainu Dabo was my lawyer. You can ask him.
By Akwete, you meant Bright Akwete?
Akwete, the prosecutor of the Bamford Commission. They picked me up, take me to the Mile 2, and I was picked up every morning from the Mile 2 to the commission.
Have you ever been successfully prosecuted by the Jammeh government?
Once. When they send Elu Sambu, the present financial director of the police, to come and pick my wife and myself passport and other documents. I told him, Edu, I have 2 hunting guns here. He said, no, they don't ask me to pick up guns. They ask me to pick up your passports. But I'll put it in my report. 2 months after, they came and searched my house and found out these 2 guns. And I can remember the chairman of the AFPRC making an interview saying that we have found ballistics in the house of one of the former ministers of Jawara. They detained me, charged me for illegal possession of guns and refusing to surrender them after the coup. Whilst the court was going on.
Which court was that?
At the Carifing court. That I possessed, I was keeping guns illegally. And Yahya Jammeh was my lawyer. It was published in the newspaper, and Edu saw it. He rang me, said, Koto, what is happening? I said, they are taking me to court for the guns I told you. He said, can you tell your lawyer to subpoena me as a witness? He was subpoenaed as a witness, and he came in full uniform with his report that he made. And he confessed that I have told him to take the guns, and this is what he told me, and this is the report he gave to the IG. It was that day that I was released.
And how about members of your family? Were they also arrested at any point in time?
My wife was arrested twice and taken to the NIA. One was even on Tobaski Day, when I was in detention, and they said that they heard that she's going to Casamance to Umaru. They arrested her and kept her for a day. The second time also I was arrested, I was at the NIA. He came, and while she was being taken into the NIA, while I was in the cell in the NIA, he saw my friend and brother. There's a blind MP whose son is Lamin Sise, who's my childhood friend. And he called Lamin Sise, and Lamin Sise, who is that? He said, Mala Awa, it is me, our job. He said, what's happening? He said, well, they have arrested me and brought me here at the NIA. He said, why is OJ? He said, but OJ, you people are keeping him for the last week. I'm also arrested. So she was kept twice. And then 3 of my friends, 4 of them, I think, who decided to be staying with me. And one day, my driver then, when I was a minister, had a christening. They went to the christening, and the driver named the daughter after my eldest daughter. The news spread, and all these 4 were arrested, seriously tortured. One of them died.
Could you tell us their names and identify the person who died?
Omar Jallow, he's still limping, and he still had the mark of the electrocuted water. And this is the one.
The mark of what?
When they were putting these electricity pipes on his hand.
So you mean he was electrocuted?
Yes, seriously tortured. So when he went to the NIA, Daba Marena, they brought his tea, that hot tea. Because the boy was argumentative, he threw the tea in the face of Omar Jallow. Batemane was seriously tortured. Up to now, I took him to America. He's coming tomorrow, on the 29th. He's still suffering for that limping.
Do you know who tortured him?
Sometime they will know, because they were there, because I was not with them.
Who's the 3rd person?
The 3rd person was, I have their list here, let me just check please. Sorry, I have too many. It was Omar Jallow, Jebel Sise. I also took him to America, but he's still suffering from his leg problems. He was staying with me. And after the torture, I have to bring somebody to be massaging him for 1 week for him to be able to walk. The other one is Sane, the very driver who named the daughter after my daughter. and Bakari Mane is Bate that I talked about, who's in America. They were 5.
Who died?
Modu Jallow, whom I got a job at Health as a driver. They call him Dodge, but his family is still at London Corner.
How soon after the torture did he die?
About a week or so.
Did you report the matter?
To who?
The police?
If the police are doing things that is wrong, I didn't have confidence in them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jallow. What motivated you to continue to defy the Jammeh government in spite of all these arrests, tortures, and detention?
Sorry, as a child, I was very political. And some of us were the Kurumaist boys when we were in high school. Unfortunately, I never read books at that time that is not from Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Toure, Kim Il-sung of North Korea, of the Red Book of Chairman Mao Zedong. That is why people who know me in Serekunda know that I organized fundraising funds in Serekunda and took it to Nunevera in Casamas when he was fighting in the bush. That's what he bring my best friends when he was president. I believe in justice. And I thought that if I was born in Old Yudum, my father is a Banjulian, my mother from Birkama, and we moved to Serekunda, and the Serekunda people decided to put me up as their candidate when I don't have much family in Serekunda. And I became a parliamentary secretary. Maybe the day I won for 4 years and a minister, a parliamentary at 31, minister at 34, and served for 14 and a half years under Yahya Jammeh, under Sadauda Kairaba Jawara. I could not understand if, when those people are in difficulty, and they were the people who look up to me for leadership, when the going was nice, that I should abandon them and betray them when the going was tough. It was a challenge to me as a leader that I'll stand up for justice and fair play for the people who look up to me for leadership.
Would you say that you are persecuted by the Jammeh government? Would you say that you are persecuted by the Jammeh government, seeing that you were arrested and detained for over 22 times?
Yes, and then after that he was angry because he has sent so many people to offer me money and positions, and I refused.
Could you tell us more about that?
Yes, unfortunately, I didn't talk to those people, I don't know whether, but I have an elder brother, and they know him, Cherno Jallow. He's a journalist, one of the main journalist people here in Gambia. He's my mother's eldest son, and my father's first son. One day I was sitting in my house when he said, some people have come to here, sent by the president, and they want me to come with them. I said, no, you are the elder brother, I'll come to your house. I went, and I met about 7 or 8 people sitting down. They said, Yahya Jammeh has told them how I contributed to help him. He thinks I should forget about everything and come and work with him. And there was a box. And they said he has sent over $3 million for you. He knows you don't need it. He has not begged you. They all talked about, all 7 of them, in the presence of my brother. And I said, Mr. Brother Balai, before you talk, allow me to speak. I say, if you go tell Yahya Jammeh, when they overthrew Kwame Nkrumah, I swore to the Quran that I will never work for a military government. I will never support a military government. And tell him, I don't need his job. I don't need his money. I say, Pa, tell them, before he knows, let them dig a grave and let me stand near the grave. And let them bring somebody with a gun. That if I don't join Yahya Jammeh, I'll be killed. I will jump fast, lie in the grave, because I don't want to be gone and I fall down. I will lie down and let them shoot me whilst I'm doing, and then cover me with the sand. I said, that's all I want to say. So they went home.
Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions. I'll just allow the witness to say a few things about what he thinks, and I would like him to also include in his statement the impact of this political persecution on not just himself, but also members of his family. And Mr. Chairman, the floor is also open for you to ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Jallow. Thanks for your testimony. Would you want to make any remarks about, in general, about the situation in the country and what you have gone through? I have one or two questions to ask after that.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I am delighted that I'm still alive when so many people who have gone through what I've gone through are not here today to witness what is happening here. So I have to thank God for it. And let us all pray for those people who are fighting just like us, fighting against despotism, against injustice, and against violations, that they lost their lives because of their country, because of their love for peace and justice. I am happy that the TRRC is established. And I want people to know that we are all believers. For me, I have said, all those who tortured me, all those who did these bad things to me, I've forgiven them. What they have done to my prophet is worse than what they did to me. What they did to Prophet Isa is worse than what they did to me. What they did to Prophet Abraham is worse than what they did for me. But when they have power, they don't beat people up, they don't kill people. That is why I think TRRC is very important. And people have to support this TRRC to finish their job and make sure their recommendations are respected so that we can bring back Gambia for what it was. Gambia was one family, one tribe, one religion. Nobody knows who is a Christian, who is a Muslim, who is a Mandinga, who is a Fula, who is a Sarahule, who is a Jola, who is a Manjago. And this was one of the principles that was being promoted by Jawara's regime. I would just appeal that for those who are victims, I will appeal to the chairman and all the members. Let this government go out and look for funds. I will prefer us to compensate these victims. If you check Hussein Habri, the cell he's sleeping in Dakar is far better than a lot of homes in Dakar. Charles Taylor, the cell he's sleeping in UK is far better than some of the houses that we sleep in. That is why the wife has just got a baby. Let us get money, as the Quran says, and pay blood money to those who are killed and compensate those who are tortured, who are suppressed, who are sacked from their jobs, so that we will, let us not forget. But then we'll forgive. So that we can forgive and stop living in the past. If we continue living in the past, Gambia will never be developed. Gambia can only develop when we forgive each other and face the past together and learn from the mistakes of the past and never ever allowed it to be done in this country again. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed for that expression of strong support for the TRRC. Mr. Jallow, I am taking you away from arrests and detentions and tortures that happened to you, outrageous, that should not have happened at all, to a topic that I'm taking advantage of your presence here as a former cabinet minister from the Jawara administration, just to ask you if you're aware of circumstances in cabinet meetings concerning the deployment of Nigerian soldiers somewhere here in the Gambia, and especially the command that they assumed, and the difficulties that created at the lower levels, as we have been told. The reason why I'm raising it with you, you are the only former cabinet minister to come before us so far, and just want to know if there were any discussions, if there were any circumstances that you were aware of that came up or heard concerns from senior Gambian military officers about the deployment of the Nigerian officers here in the Gambia.
Fortunately, Mr. Chairman, I have always been against the establishment of an army in Gambia. Because I have seen, I've always said, I'm sorry if I live with some people, that Africa has two enemies: our people in uniform and our intellectuals. That is why I have never supported the establishment of an army, because I knew that most African armies are made of people who couldn't make it socially in the system. So they look up to those who made it and became the enemy. That is why Yahya Jammeh's first statement as chairman of the AFPRC was, when I was in Gambian school, they come with their father's cars and with their nice shoes and their mburu agiyapa, their bread and meat, while some of us don't even have lunch. That hatred built in him. Should he have blamed my father? My father paid for my school fees. He gives me lunch. Where was his father and his mother? Why did they take care of him? These are some of the things that we should look into. But we also made a mistake, Mr. Chairman. I'll accept it here. A country that is embedded with coup-d'états, how can you take those people from that country to lead your army? I always wanted the Senegalese to stay, the Zandarmerie and the police. Then we would have not got a coup d'etat. Because Senegal has the discipline. You cannot be a captain in Senegal without having a first degree. The military has a school. The Zandarmerie has a school whereby you build character, you build people, you build intellect before you put them in uniform. I think that's what we should have done. But we made a mistake of bringing the worst coup plotters in Africa to head our army. That's why we are suffering for it.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Kinte.
Commissioner Kinte, Honorable Jallow, in various statements or deliberations since we started, revealed that there were rumors of coups and coups and coups until they became monotonous and people never took it seriously. In fact, in particular, this one which was first indicated on the 21st, and some soldiers were disarmed at the airport, and subsequently the following morning they came up, they took to the streets well armed to take over the government. Where, as a cabinet member, were you, the cabinet, aware of these rumors, and what much have you done about it? And this one in particular, after disarming them, did you in any way as a cabinet sit to strategize, or you just took for granted and it was a spilled milk? What was it?
Sorry, I think, you know, the one, let me begin with the 21st. I went to the airport. It was at the airport that I heard that some army people were disarmed, but it's going to be taken up the next day, and the next day was the coup. But really, what I thought is that when they want to infuse the Zandarmerie into the police, that's why it started. Because I can remember, I think it was Armiao and Major Mbaye, who is now in America, I think, from Kawuru, nice, handsome boy, who was married to Abu Dentin's daughter, came to my office to complain that I should talk to Sir Dauda, that in any country where there is a Zandarmerie, it is only the Zandarmerie that has powers to arrest a soldier and the police together. Then I went to Sir Dauda and I told him. He said, but also already the decision has been made. But that decision, before it was made, Mr. Chairman, has never ever been discussed in cabinet. But I thought that's where things started. Because you cannot infuse a senior institution and take it to a lower institution. That's where people's discontent started.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Honorable Jallow. I have a question regarding institutional reforms. What institutional reforms would you suggest for our political system to prevent a reoccurrence of dictatorship and a coup?
Thank you. First and foremost, let us stop the personalization and glorification of leaders. Sometimes I get angry. Just before our Congress, when people start being angry that I am not contesting for the leadership, I said, if anybody in Gambia thinks that what I can do, nobody can do in Serekunda alone, I'm not about Gambia, that's the biggest insult to the whole Gambia. Second, let us make sure our institutions become independent. The civil service, the police, the army should be independent and should be guaranteed under the new constitution. And let us make sure some of these are entrenched so that no president whose party has a majority in parliament can just go and change the laws like what Yahya Jammeh was doing. I think the institutions that I think should be strengthened is the police, the army, the civil service. If we have those institutions and the parastatals, then Gambia will move forward. But the moment we accept political interference in these institutions, then failure will surely come.
Thank you very much, Imam Sise.
Chairman Imam Sise. Mr. Jallow, ñu ngi lay gërëm ci li nga wax ne jéggal nga képp ki nga xamante ne defoon na la dara.
Your sense of
jéggal nga leen loolu lu am solo la.
It's very important to forgive.
waaw léegi comme lan ngay xelal ñeneen ñi nga xamante ne amoon nañ lu mel ni lii.
But now, what is your advice to those that have experienced?
Wow, I can speak in Wolof. Li tax ma jéggal leen.
The reason why I forgive them
mooy fitna kenn war koo ee.
is because nobody should look for trouble.
Bés bu nekk ñun ñu tooñ yàlla.
Every day.
waaye yàlla def na ci ñun ci alxuraan ak ci bu yeneen bug yëpp Bible beeg ñëpp ne nit dafa war a baalale. ma foog ne nag baalale bokk na pour nga neexal.
Forgiveness should be one of
like man wax nañ ma ci alxuraan ci sariya ne su ma reyee doomi nit mun nañoo toog waxtaan suñ d'accord ci kàddu ak ci amende bu ma wax rey ma fay ko duñ ma rey duñ ma yóbbu koot. loolu nag laa bëgg ñu def Gambia ñu baalalante li te xel yi duñ em te dama ne man waxuma keneen de waaye suñ bëggee toppa Yahya Jammeh kenn deful dara. baalal ma joxe one exemple bi Yahya Jammeh nguuram reyee fukki xaleel ak ñeneen benn suba Yahya Jammeh nekku fi mu nga mitim réew. Vice président bi fi nekkoon lu tax laajuñ ko ba tey lu tax mu topp ak ñana joxe instruction pour ñu feneel xale yooyu ban ministre bi nekkoon cabinet waxtu boobu moo resigné li ñu def baaxul ba minister of justice Seka investigaté ba xam ñi rey xale yi mu ne leen yóbbu koot Yahya Jammeh daxa ko jël loolu dem ci parlement paas lu waane ñi rey xale yi kenn du leen yóbbu koot te député yi fa nekkoon kana resign yëpp a ci ànda kon léegi soo amee sa xarit Tabaski ngay koo rey ki téye tànki gannaaw bi ki téye tànki gannaaw bi ki ñaddu pour dere bi bu ma laal a borom paaka bi yéen ñëpp a ko rey Yahya Jammeh ak ñi doon àndal yëpp ñoo def lu bon li ñu def Gambia suñ baalalewut nag suñ kër yëpp tas.
The legs and the ears are all partners in the crime, so it cannot only be Yahya Jammeh responsible.
Thank you very much indeed. If there are no further questions from the commissioners, Minister Jallow, thank you very much indeed for your testimony.
Mr. Chairman, before Mr. Jallow leaves,
yes.
I would like him to hand over the document he was referring to, which contains the names, the list of names of people who was detained together with. So I would also ask that that document and the document in which he identified the names of certain individuals who were detained be included in the record as Exhibits 12 and 13. Exhibit 12 would be the list of detainees, and Exhibit 13 would be, which one? Okay, I'm sorry. I've just been alerted to the fact that we should start from Exhibit 13. And Exhibit 13 would be the list of detainees at Bakau Barracks, October 1995 to 1996. And Exhibit 14 would be the list of arrest and detention of OJ and his friends, his wife and friends. And Exhibit 15, right, would be the list of women he mentioned to have been tortured at Fajara Barracks, or Bakau Barracks for that matter.
Thank you very much, Chairman Council. Your request is granted. And if there are no further questions, again, thank you so much, Minister Jallow. And the meeting is adjourned. Tomorrow we meet at 10 o'clock. Thanks.